God of War is one of my favorite games, but it's kind of weird because I don't love the gameplay. It's not bad or anything, it's just not for me. The story, however, is what makes me love this game. Today, I specifically want to talk about its ending and how it's perfect. So, there will be major spoilers, obviously. God of War is essentially a game about two parents. You have Kratos, who is distant from his son, and Freya, who is close to her son. Too close. As we go along in this journey, we see Kratos and Atreus grow closer and closer, and we also learn more about Freya and her son, Baldur. We learn about how much these parents will do to protect their children. Freya puts a spell on Baldur so that he would never feel pain and be protected forever. And when Atreus gets sick, Kratos is willing to go to Helheim and back without hesitation, even if it means digging up his past. We see the undying love these parents have for their children. There's also a contrast between Kratos and Freya. As I said, Kratos and Atreus only become closer as the game goes on, but we can see how distant Freya and Baldur have become. He resents her for keeping him from feeling anything. The spell was an action born of love, but it only caused hatred. Okay, let's focus on Kratos and Atreus for a second. At the beginning of the game, their relationship is a bit detached. Kratos has these big expectations for his son, but Atreus doesn't exactly meet them. He hesitates to make a kill, he almost loses his mother's knife, he has difficulty controlling his anger, etc., etc. But as events continue to unfold, this barrier between them only gets smaller. Kratos begins to trust his son more and opens up about his past. Atreus becomes a skilled fighter and archer and begins to understand his father. This growing relationship culminates in the final battle. Here, we see how far they've really come. And now we get into why I really love this battle. It's a bit complicated. You've got Kratos, who wants to protect Freya after all she's done for him. You've got Baldur, who wants to kill both of them, especially Freya for what she did to him. You've got Freya, who doesn't want to kill either of them, especially not Baldur because he's her son. You've got Mimir, who just hopes that he never falls off during any of this. Basically, there are a lot of moving parts. Essentially, it's you versus Baldur. But you've also got Freya in the background, going as far as controlling a dead giant just to keep you two from fighting. And then you've got Kratos and Atreus. This is what I really love, getting to see them work together naturally. Look at this nod that Kratos gives. He trusts Atreus to work with him to defeat Baldur. We've gone from this...
What are you doing? Now his guard is up. Only fire. Only fire. When I tell you to fire.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better. Find it. Find it.
to this.
Boy! Crystal! Atreus!
There!
Stop him! Yeah!
This is how their journey has paid off. But eventually the battle does have to end. You know, I would say that Kratos doesn't even want to kill Baldur. In fact, he warns him twice. He beats him senseless and still gives him a chance. But Baldur, driven by revenge, doesn't listen. So he does what he's been wanting to for countless years and starts to kill Freya. Kratos could sit back and let it happen, but he doesn't. Enough warnings have been given. So he steps in and kills Baldur before he can finish off Freya. And this is why it's complicated. There's not really a good outcome to this. There's no reasoning with Baldur, so no matter what happens, it's going to end with someone dead. Did Kratos have a right to intervene? I mean, Freya was okay with what Baldur was doing. She was willing to die just because it was what her son wanted. That's just the thing. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer here. I think that Kratos definitely caused the best possible outcome, but that doesn't necessarily make it the right one, because there is no right outcome. Once Baldur is dead, Freya says this.
I will rain down every agony, every violation imaginable upon you. I will parade your cold body from every corner of every realm and feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell. That is my promise.
And can you blame her? Don't you think that Kratos would say the exact same thing if someone killed Atreus? Kratos even confirms that he would die for Atreus, which I really hope isn't some sort of foreshadowing. Hey, did I mention that God of War's ending is really long? In fact, I'm sure you could argue that the final battle isn't even part of it. The true ending happens in Jotunheim. This has been the goal the whole time, Atreus' mother's last wish, for her ashes to be brought to the highest peak. Finally, Kratos has nothing more to hide. He now trusts his son enough to carry her ashes to the mountain. In this one last peaceful moment, we see the journey of these two come to a close. They're no longer distant. Father and son are closer than ever before. And this is why I love the ending. In a lot of games, the big climactic final battle is the end. Sure, there's usually a cutscene afterward, but in God of War, once that big battle is over, you're still playing the game. You're not truly done until you've made it to that mountain in Jotunheim. We've had the action-packed climax, but now it's time to take a step back and experience the emotional climax. The journey's end. But that's still not all. There's one last thing that I love about the ending of God of War, and that is hyping up the sequel. You see, this game doesn't feel like it exists just to push the sequel. Rather, there's a bunch of stuff dumped onto you at the very end to get you excited for the next game. Ominous murals, the reveal of Atreus being Loki, the snowfall signaling the start of Ragnarok, and let's not forget that post-credits scene with Thor. All of these tactics worked. I'm really excited for God of War Ragnarok. So that's pretty much why I think God of War has a perfect ending. It has that climactic battle not just for the sake of action, it also plays into the story and reveals how complicated the relationships between all these characters are. And after all of that, the true ending is peaceful and reflective. And there's also plenty to get you excited for the sequel. The story of God of War is fantastic. So here's hoping that the next game will be just as good, if not better,